I get that, but how do I love myself? How? I don't know how. What are the steps to take to love myself, to feel love for myself? Anyone doing anything great, they just started. They just did it. Felt like I've been stuck in survival mode, just trying to breathe and trying to grasp this life that I was born into and that I'm living. Nothing great comes from doing it once. I'm not here to teach you or lead you. I'm here to simply exist. Hi guys, I'm excited to be here. Welcome to my channel. My name is Issy Oye. Most people know me as Issy, hence the name, my government name. My name is Isioma Oye Aonka. I'm from Nigeria. I was born and raised in Lagos, Nigeria, but I currently live in Halifax, Nova Scotia, here in Canada. The name of my channel is Issy Oye. I spent quite a few months thinking about, or more like weeks, but I spent quite a lot of time thinking about what I was gonna name my channel. I really wanted something easy. I also wanted something that I would say describes who I think I am, who I'm finding myself out to be. T is like a nickname. I always wanted a nickname. Growing up, everyone knew me as Isioma, and I loved my name. I love my name, actually. I love the meaning of my name. My name is Isioma. But growing up, I had friends who had nicknames, 2-letter names, like short versions of their name, and I always wanted one. I always wanted one. My dad called me Ayuma growing up, which I think is super unique. I love it. And then obviously I had nicknames from uncles like Issy Baby. So I did have nicknames from the people that loved me the most, people that knew me growing up, knew me when I was born. I wanted a nickname that I got to choose and I got to tell people. So I landed on Issy. Very creative. It's just the first 3 letters of my actual name. I was spending some time reflecting and thinking, and that name Issy has been in a lot of places. She's that girl at 18 who moved to a different country for college, and that was her chance. She was like, well, people are gonna start calling me Issy now. And at first it started off with a desire to just want a nickname, but in like the last, I want to say 8 years, the girl named Issy has really evolved. Like, she's changed. She's become very many different versions of herself. She's just grown into a woman, I think. And so now I'm proud of that name. I think it's a name that I could sort of choose for myself, but didn't stray too far away from the name that I was given by my parents and by God. Oye is the first name of my dad's name. Without going into too much detail about my family, I love my family. We're super close. We've been through so much together. He always knew he wanted 2 kids. He was like, I want 2 kids and I want to pour all my love into them. I want them to do great things in this world. And just that like desire to want the best for myself and my sister and just build a beautiful life for us. I wanted a name because I do hope I go somewhere. I'm putting this on record. I dream and I know that my name would be in places. I pray that it's in great places. I wanted that to be an attachment to my name, and so hence Issy Oye. Oye is his first name. I wanted that name to mean something to me, and I also knew that what I intend to do with this channel, it just fit. It made so much sense. So yes, I do have a book with me. I have a book because, okay, maybe this might be a rant. You know what? I'm gonna yap. When everyone was on YouTube and everything started blowing up and people started building careers here and doing big things, I think I silently swore to myself, I was like, I'm never gonna do this YouTube thing, and I'm just gonna enjoy my time here and watch people's vlogs and stuff and be a bystander and like view it. The pandemic happened. I was trying to figure out what I wanted for my life. I was moving from Florida to Canada and I wanted a way to document it. Obviously, so many people were like, oh, come with me to move to this country and start a new life in that country. And I was like, well, this could be something that I could do. So I don't know, I might release that video, but I privated the video, but I made one video. It was the hardest thing I had ever done in my whole life, especially when it came to editing, like recording and like figuring out the aesthetics and stuff. It was horrible. I also like hated my voice. And I had every intention to build it and create momentum and just, you know, be a resource out there. Because when I was looking for videos on what Halifax was going to be like, they literally literally was nothing. And I didn't want like a explore Halifax video. I wanted someone who lived here and was experiencing life here, and I wanted to see what it was like, and there was nothing. So I thought I could do that. But obviously moving, things got a little too hectic for me. I was trying to settle down. Felt like I was growing up again, and it just fell off the bandwagon. Also, my commitment to, now I'll go into details about all these things, but my commitment to things was non-existent. I would start things and I wouldn't finish it. I had a clothing apparel line or store. I started it, and before it could be anything, I lost it. No, I didn't lose it. I just stopped caring about it. Obviously, I moved. Life was lifing. Things were happening, and it fell off. I still wanted to start documenting my life, and I've always wanted to do that. I had a podcast. It was called Introspection. I had another podcast. It was called Dear God, and that was just audios of like my deepest letters and journals to him and revelations I would have. I loved it. It was very beautiful. I might bring that back. It was something that I really connected with. But I always wanted to share things with people. I wanted to share how I was feeling. I basically wanted people to know that they were not going through things alone, and that they had someone like myself who was probably going through the same things or asking the same questions or dealing with the same feelings. I wanted to be able to share that with people. I remember I was sitting on my couch, and it was beginning of summer. I'm trying to think of like, I'm done with school, I'm done with my MBA, I started my full-time job. I just had this desire and this need to be creative. I would always spend my time rotting on TikTok and everything but myself, and I wanted something to build. I wanted something to commit to. Anyway, I'll go into details. So I took out my journal. That's what I have here. I took out my journal and I wrote down the first video that I was ever gonna make. This was supposed to be my intro to this channel, my first video, and I wrote it down. I kind of wrote it in this is so weird because I don't feel the same way, but I literally wrote down exactly how I was. It was kind of like a script, how I was feeling in that moment, that I was just felt fed up with my life. I was like, I need to do something with myself. I need to move past who I've been right now, living in survival mode, and I need to just show up for myself. And so I'm gonna read out my script, and then I'm sort of gonna give details or context. Okay, and I don't know, all of a sudden I feel really shy. Title: I'm here to simply exist. As I record this, I am extremely terrified. My plans feel big. My palms feel sweaty. My heart is beating fast, and everything in me wants to stop. But I have a specific purpose, and I need to see it through. It is an entirely selfish decision. I'm doing this for me. I'm at a point where I'm sick and tired of being afraid and not living out my potential. I'm done being ruled by fear. This is so weird. I don't know if I want to cringe or cry, because the girl who wrote this, I didn't care about if it made sense. I didn't care about the pauses. I just needed to sort of purge and have this for once not talk myself out of it or think myself out of it, and just like put it on paper, and then that way like I can come back to it and remind myself. So I'm gonna stutter here and there because even I don't understand what I'm reading. Okay. I'm done being ruled by fear. Fear of being perceived, fear of not succeeding, fear of failure, fear of financial insecurity, fear. So this channel is my big plan to start my life and choose me. At the ripe age of 26, I have come to terms with my adulthood and come to the big realization that there is a life to be lived. But at the same time, I came to the realization that there are a lot of things within me that I need to sort out. And I guess I'm going into these thoughts and realizations. 1, I have no idea who I am. I've lived a life motivated by affirmations from others. I've picked up mannerisms and habits and beliefs because someone I thought was cooler than me had them. I wanted to belong. I know that's just a normal thing of life, but in doing that all my life up until now, I've let go of things that I once loved to pursue a persona that pleased everyone else. As a result, I am here stuck with the spirit of comparison. Obviously, social media doesn't help, because when I see cool people doing cool things, I think of how far away I am instead of being genuinely inspired and motivated. Whew. I remember writing this, and this feeling I had was something that, and this is all in retrospect, this is all after thinking and reflecting on my life. And I joke around and say I need like hypnosis, and I need to go to hypnotherapy, because there are a lot of things, good things might I add, but there are a lot of things that I have shoved back so far back in my memory that I don't remember. And so if you ask me how my childhood was, I know I had a happy childhood and I was loved, but I spent so much time in the present wanting to be like someone else. I grew up having good friends. I never felt, wow, I'm like torn between being really open right now or being a little like polite because I'm recording myself for human consumption. I had good friends growing up. I would like to consider myself part of, I thought I was a cool girl. I don't know if everyone else thought that. I did. And I thought I had cool friends, right? Actually, I take that back. When I was younger, when I was like a child, I was in primary school, I thought I was the shit, and I thought my friends were the shit too. I thought we were all cool girls. We would have, dance groups and makeup dances, and we're always performing. And then moving into middle school, things changed. Middle school, secondary school, you start learning a whole different life outside of you, making different friends, seeing different people that you grew up with, and there comes this like, it feels like exposure to a world bigger than yourself. And so you see all sorts of people. And I think that was the first time that while I thought I was cool, and I thought other people were cool too, but I knew I was the shit. And then going into that space, and I wouldn't say it's realizing that I'm not the shit anymore, but understanding that maybe there's a different kind of shit. And I should probably stop saying the word shit, but there's a different kind of cool outside of what I know. And I went to boarding school, so I felt like I was dealing with a lot of complex thoughts and emotions that didn't necessarily have the opportunity to be guided through. And so my small brain will try to figure it out myself, or shove it back in my memory and not think about it. So when I'm writing this and I'm thinking about it, I say this as context because I had spent so much time wanting to be that new version of cool. I wanted to walk a certain way. I wanted to talk a certain way. I wanted to have certain friends. I wanted to be welcomed into certain groups. And it was never like I was not welcome. I mean, I did have one interaction literally on my first day of school. I'm not going to say it because I feel embarrassed to say it. But I did have a feeling, it was my first feeling of rejection. But outside of that, it was, I was finding my people and I was creating friendships and connections. But it almost felt, and maybe this is in retrospect, but it almost felt like those were connections that were fostered just because we were in the same space. And there was just never that sense of belonging. And that's no one's fault. It was maybe I was finding myself or wanting to be in spaces that I thought would make me cooler, but maybe that wasn't for me. I don't know. I don't want to go into the details, but I do remember myself wanting to be cool and wanting to speak a certain way and wanting to walk a certain way and wanting to wear certain things. And I'm not going to sit here and bash myself like, Issy, you should have been more independent and more expressive and be yourself. I was a child. I was 12 when I got into boarding school. So I don't blame myself, and I don't think anyone should. I was young. But it doesn't say that that's what I was doing. And it took me years. I found out that I was still doing this well into my 20s. So that's what this paragraph is about. It's like I would do something and someone would be like, oh, I see, that's cool. And it would make me feel so good. I'm like, okay, well, if that's cool, I'm going to keep doing it. Or like, see, you're so kind. I'm like, oh, thank you. I'm going to continue being kind. Or you have such a great smile, and then the next day I'm like, what's your favorite feature? See, my smile, right? And now I love my smile. But at that time, I said I loved my smile because someone else told me they loved my smile. I don't know if it makes sense, but that's what that first paragraph, that's what I was trying to communicate. And so yes, I'm just, instead of, comparing, and that leads me to, then I started measuring myself to other people, like, wow, that person's done this. That makes them cool. Why? I should be there. I should be on that level. How far am I to that level of coolness? I'm using the word cool because it feels like the safest word to use without sounding a little sad. And actually, it really wasn't sad. It wasn't sad. I think it was something normal that every, young child goes through. But I think I talk about it this way because it's something that I held on to well into my adult years. That wanting to be cool and wanting to be trendy then turned into me comparing myself and evaluating where my life is going, and pretty much creating a yardstick for my life based on other people's accomplishments. Especially in our 20s, everyone's doing something, building businesses. Some people are having families, some people are still in school. And so instead of me understanding that I have my own lane and I have my own journey, instead I was looking and pointing and trying to figure out where everyone was and where I wanted to fit in. So I'm tired of doing that. I just generally want to see other people and be inspired and be like, oh my God, they're doing that. How freaking cool. And I do think that way, but that deep part of me that I try to keep a little hidden still feels that. I can only learn by doing. If you're watching this, how many how-to videos have you watched in the last month? How to be happier, how to build a routine, how to start a podcast. I've probably watched a million. I've paralyzed myself with information and can't take the step to start. I never used to be like that. I've moved cities, even countries. I've built a life so far for myself. I've done some really hard things, but something within me always talks myself out of doing new things. This one's an important one. This was you can only learn by doing. Somehow in the age of information and access to information, there's this need to plan and be prepared and create a strategy. Create a strategy and know where your next move is and plan your next move. And that's all beautiful and that is all great. But in my opinion, I think the most successful people in everything they've done, I don't think they had a plan when they started. I think they knew what they were going to do and they just started doing it, and then everything fell into place. Then they started making plans. Then they started getting more organized and starting, to create a path. But anyone doing anything great, they just started. They just did it. And I think I have been stuck in, and this happened post me starting an apparel line. Again, I started a business because I was in the US and I needed to employ myself because no one else wanted to employ me, and I needed to use my OPT, and I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna become a business owner and start my own business. And so that's why I did it. But I used to just do things. Like I would think about it and I would do it, or I will attempt to do it. Now, the thing about attempting to do it was I never stayed the course. I never continued to gain momentum. I would just start it, and then at the earliest failure or the earliest inconvenience, I'm done. So that was my downfall. But I had that business, and like I said, I had the business and I didn't continue and I didn't build any momentum. And then I sort of told myself, well, the next thing I do, I'm gonna plan. And then I was stuck in this bubble of planning and planning and planning and planning and planning and not doing anything. I call it analysis paralysis. I had to Google it and I found the word. It was analysis paralysis. I had all this information, and then I thought about if I had access to the resources, or how I was going to get access to the resources, or if this is actually something I should be doing, or am I going to fail? There are a lot of things I could have been doing by now that I didn't do because I talked myself out of it, and I'm just tired of it. I don't want to do it anymore. Number 3, this one touches my heart all the time. Fear of being perceived. I don't know what happened or when it happened. Okay. I don't know what happened or when it happened, but I accepted that I have a deep fear of being perceived. From my day-to-day tasks like grocery shopping or walking into a bar, to big tasks like starting a business and promoting it, or posting a video that shows how I really portray myself. I'm deathly afraid. I am deathly afraid. Not anymore. Last time making this video. I mean, I wouldn't say not anymore, but a lot less. It's been a long time, but I've felt like I've been stuck in survival mode, just trying to breathe and trying to grasp this life that I was born into and that I'm living, and also understand the things that have happened to myself. And all of a sudden, that manifested in not wanting to be seen, not wanting people to make judgment about me, because somehow I developed anxiety. I was always outside of my body. When I say outside of my body, I was also always trying to figure out how people think of what people think of me and how people perceive me. And so I'll be walking down the street in what I think is a great outfit, and instead of feeling confident in myself and strutting and giving people a show. Instead, I'm stuck in my head asking myself, well, that lady just looked at me. What does she think I look like? Or what does she think of my outfit? Or am I doing too much? Or is this weird? Or do I feel weird? And I was just always outside of myself. That manifested in, because I got so tired of always doing that. And the more I did it, the crazier the stories got. The crazier the stories got. And the more stiff I felt like I was, or I became. I just did not want to be seen anymore. And so when I think of the dreams I have for myself and what I want to be and the things I want to do, it never aligned. I dreamt of it. I felt it in my heart. Actually, it felt like this. I can't explain the feeling, but it almost felt like I was drowning a little bit. I couldn't breathe in some capacity because the feeling of desire for these things, it was overwhelming. It engulfed me. You know what I mean? It overwhelmed me. And then just on the other side of it, I had this deep fear of what people would think about me while I was pursuing these dreams. And it's ironic because anyone that knows me knows that at the parties, your girl is dancing. During dancing competitions, who's winning? It's Issy. She's battling to the end. She's fighting her way with those moves, busting a move all the way to the end. Girl, boy, adult, anyone, I'm rocking. And I did this in front of people. I performed. I was a dancer. I mean a dancer, like dance teams. My girls and I, we would have, make cute little dances and dancing like talent shows. In the plays, I was there. I was acting, I was dancing. I traveled to London with my school, with my middle school, and we performed. As kids, we were 14, 15. We were dancing, we were performing in London in front of adults. I just never had an issue being perceived. I would do presentations. I loved them. I loved speaking in public. I was an MC for a school program. I would be asked to give speeches. It's just never been a problem for me. But I think isolating myself and going through life, because life does life. Somehow I found myself not wanting to be seen, or being afraid to be seen, and that limited me, I think, in a lot of ways. I don't want to do that. Number 4, nothing great comes from doing it once. Viral videos and businesses have given me a false understanding of success. This is something that I internalized and I am now understanding is untrue. Somehow I found myself believing that posting one video or launching your first product would be all I needed. The truth is, practice makes perfect and consistency brings success. That's the 4th problem I found out. And it is the biggest thing that I'm learning. Apart from self-love and self-appreciation, nothing great comes from doing it once. I feel like that speaks for itself. During COVID, we're seeing, people get famous overnight. And when you think about it, we don't hear their names anymore. Do we? No, I don't think I do. But there's just this rush from going viral overnight. I thought, well, I have a great personality. I'm a cool gal. I could get viral and get famous overnight, or I could launch my business and everyone loves it, and I'm praying to God. I'm like, God, just that one shirt just needs to get famous. It just needs to go viral. And the actual truth is the most sought after things in life come from doing it more than once and consistently honing in on the craft and learning. For a long time, I would question myself, Issy, why don't you see anything through? Why don't you just pick something and just do it and stick it through and see where it takes you? So the truth is, the little girl in me who had she had the right intention, but the only problem is that the little girl in her thought that this would happen overnight. Because things do change, and that things change. It's a matter of a day and a second. But for a lot of people who get that true feeling of accomplishment are people who have been consistent at this, and then it takes them one day for it to fall into place. And I wasn't realizing, I was only seeing the one day, and I wasn't seeing the months and years before that people were struggling, trying to build and trying to do things and trying to hone in on their craft and explore things and fail and fall and learn. And I'm learning that, and I'm learning all of that. And I've gone on this whole rant No, I'm going to continue reading, but I am honing on that. And I'm starting to realize that I need to focus more on the journey and not the outcome. And it's a constant reminder. Every day I feel sad or discouraged. I think every day, and this has to do with my faith. This has to do with my business. This has to do with my job. This has to do with everything. Loving myself. It takes practice. It takes one small action every day. One example, I used to beat myself up for not reading my Bible. I would beat myself up so much that I just stopped reading it altogether. And it became so overwhelming because I'm like, well, I'm going to read it and I'm going to open it and I don't know what I'm reading. I don't understand what I'm reading. I'm not hearing you, God. And one day I felt like it was him speaking to me. It was part of this realization. And one day I was like, you know what, Issy, what if you just open up the app? It reminds you every day anyway. Just open up the app and read the verse of the day. And guess what? I low-key right now have like a 32-day streak. And it's helped me in so many ways. It feels good because I'm staying consistent. I'm showing up for myself. And it is also helping me because then I get to read his word and sort of like get inspiration from it. But that's a whole different story for another day. I'm almost done. Now that I've gone on this rant about things I am feeling, here are the results I want from this journey. I want to be happy. I want to love and believe in myself. I want to have fun. I want to overcome fears. I want to exist boldly. I want to be intentional. I want to be authentic. So this channel will be my very own journal, documenting my journey to living authentically. I won't have the 5 best ways to heal or the 10 things to do to become a better you. I think there's enough of that out there. I'm not a guru or an expert. I'm not here to teach you or lead you. I'm here to simply exist. And that was the last bit of what I wrote. And it's also true. The one thing I wanted to make sure I'm not doing on here is teaching. I don't think I even want to be an expert in like doing life. I don't want to tell you these are the 5 things that I did. I don't know, maybe I would. Maybe I'm a hypocrite and I eventually do it. But as of right now, where I'm sitting, where I am in my own journey, I don't want to teach anyone. I simply just want to exist on the internet. I want to exist. I want to live my life fully. I want to learn new hobbies. I'm gonna make makeup vlogs. I'm gonna talk about interesting topics that interest me and I have my own thoughts about. But I really and if you go on my channel, my bio, you're gonna see that the only thing on my bio is it's literally finding authenticity. That is the one thing that I want to be able to do on here on this channel, and it's the one thing I want to be able to share with you all. This is in no way like a guide on how to find authenticity. It is not, but I hope that it can be an example of how I'm finding authenticity for myself. There's just so much information out there and we're so diverse. There's so many people in this world who are experiencing life in so many different ways. Yeah, we all have the same theme, all going through the same struggles. But when it comes to wanting to find individuality and finding ourselves, because for so long, people would tell me, yeah, you just have to love yourself. Just love yourself. Loving yourself is the recipe for success. And to me, it was like, I get that, but how do I love myself? How? I don't know how. What are the steps to take to love myself, to feel love for myself? It's just finding ways to be authentic, being me. And that's what I hope I can do on this channel. I hope I can document ways that, I'm showing up for myself and I'm being authentic. And I want to exist boldly. My best friend, when we first started being friends, and she's older than me, so she's lived a different version of life for herself, crazy life, but she's an amazing human being. And one of the things she told me when she was getting me through some really tough times was think back on little Issy and write a letter to her. If she at that age was going through the same issues you're going through now, what would you tell her? How would you want to soothe her? And what are the things you're going to say to her and speak to that girl? Because you're not going to see your little sister, your little cousin, or just a little girl on the side of the street and berate her. You're not going to do that. You're going to scoop her up and make her feel safe and make her feel like she's being seen and tell her that she needs to be bold and she needs to learn about herself. And it helped me a lot. And I'm hoping that me deciding to do this and share and be vulnerable and open and just live my life the way I'm learning how to is me sort of showing up for little Issy. And so I hope that, I don't know why I want to cry, but I hope that me showing up here on camera, hopefully doing more chit chats and opening my heart and just being more in tune with how I feel and being able to articulate that, I hope that this can show at least one person tangible ways that they can start this journey. I hope that I can create a safe space of belonging, a safe space to find yourself and be authentic for yourself. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I've had way too many vlogs, so I was too afraid to talk to the camera. But I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you watched it till the end. And if you're hearing this, thank you for watching it till the end. Please don't forget to like this video and please don't forget to subscribe. And honestly, if you feel like someone needs to join this little cute community that we have on here, please share it with them. I'm not going to sit here and promise things because I don't know what I'm going to post, when or what I'm going to post next. But I do hope that you show up and you go on this journey with me. It was nice talking to y'all. I don't know how to end it, so I'm just gonna end it. I hope you have a beautiful day and I hope that you connect with yourself. Toodaloo. Bye.